All right, I think we'll get rolling here. Thanks everybody for joining today's Zoom call. This is Brian View from FinLocker. We've got Bob Hoffman on the line from our St. Louis corporate office and Ethan View as well here with me in the office. And the purpose of today's call is primarily for those of you that have already set up with FinLocker. We want to take you through just a short tutorial on what you can expect when a user of the Go Bag shares contents from their Go Bag to you for purposes of a mortgage application. And then we'll also take any Q&A, but that's going to be the primary scope of today's call, and it probably will be a pretty short call. A couple of housekeeping notes. Again, for those of you that have already signed on with FinLocker through Vetted VA, following today's call, you'll get an email from Ethan. That email will have a short user guide, which will summarize a lot of what we're going to cover on this call. It'll also contain your login credentials for the admin portal of FinLocker. And that admin portal, which we're going to go through here as well, is where you would retrieve any documents and data that is shared from a veteran's Go Bag with you for purposes of mortgage application. So first thing we're going to do is I have my screen shared, so you should be seeing the dashboard view of the Vetted VA Go Bag. So we've just kind of set a demo account up here. So I'm just going to fly through pretty fast some of the features and functionality for the veteran. I think pretty much you guys are all familiar with it, but I want to show you where and how the user can store documents in the Go Bag, and then from the Go Bag, how they share those documents. You're going to notice we've got 3 rotating panels that are over here in the upper right. I blew this one up in the Go Bag so it's nice and visible. So right now we've got the panels are helping users with the TSP, Navy Fed, and USAA accounts. We have a generic contact Vetted VA. This goes to info@vettedva.com via email. So I think Chris and Nathan manage that. And then this one we're going to repurpose following this call. For right now, it's just basically a hot link to Navy Federal because we were able to successfully work with Navy Fed to get them integrated. What we will be replacing the Navy Federal panel with, it will be the Start Mortgage Application panel. And I'm going to show you what that looks like in our demo account in a second. So, once the user's been using their Go Bag, obviously they can enroll their credit, view their credit score, drill in, see their credit report. They can add financial accounts, set up budgets and goals, enroll their property if they already own a home and track the value. They can do real estate search from the locker. We've actually built and just launched this mortgage help widget. So this is pretty new. I don't think we've even showed this in a demo yet. I will just give you guys a sneak peek here. So we built this mortgage help page specifically for the forbearance kind of issue today. And we're deploying it through some of our servicing partners. But here there's a lot of links out to information, education through Freddie Mac, Fannie Mae, CFPB, et cetera. And then we've also launched what we call a forbearance scenario tool. This is basically just a quick calculator that a user can go through to determine if they were to go on forbearance, what it would look like 3, 6, 9, 12 months out in terms of the amount that they would owe from a reinstatement. But then it also sets them up for those that go from forbearance into a more modification, kind of sets them up for that. And the next phase of our build out to support mortgage assistance will be for consumer or using the locker for forbearance to actually start a modification application. So just throw that out there just as a FYI in case anyone's inquiring about what that mortgage help widget is all about. So from a documents perspective, a veteran, a go bag user can store a document in the locker. So I just went to the left navigation, click documents. From here, I click into the financial folder, and now I can store documents that are going to be needed for my mortgage application. So I've done a couple in here already. So I've got a PDF of a tax return, pay stubs, and then a letter of explanation. But virtually any and all documents that a consumer would need for a mortgage application can be stored here in the go bag. And then when they're ready to start that mortgage application, it's literally going to be one click away, which I'm going to show you in a moment. Some of you were on a Facebook exchange with me over the weekend as we were trying to kind of compile a checklist. And so I'm still working on finalizing that. Ultimately, we want to be able to push, a checklist, guided checklist to the user in the go bag for them to be prompted to store the important documents that will be needed for their mortgage application in here so they're ready to go. So I'm going to go back to the dashboard. Typically, like I said, we would have the call to action for an application happen from this panel, but we haven't activated it yet since we're just getting you guys set up now. But from here, there's another way to get to the sharing capability. So I'm going to come through Profile, click Share Center, and this will get me to the same place that we're going to have a hot link to. And from here, as a user, I can start to share information from my go bag. So based on the user's profile, these first set of questions that we're going to go through are coming from the profile that the user completed when they set up their go bag to begin with. So they can put in, they're looking for a loan, I'd say 125,000 just to start off with a number. If they've already stored that in the profile, which I hadn't done in this particular go bag, that would store through there. Income is coming from their profile, so they can either change it here or verify it. And then if they want to add a co-borrower, they can do that here, and then this information would come through. Otherwise, they can click continue, and they're going to get to this sharing screen. This sharing now is going to do a couple things. The first two blocks of information, and I haven't put any of my liability accounts in this go bag, so that's why there's nothing showing here. But had I enrolled a credit card or a mortgage or any liability account, those would show here. But for now, I'll just show you how they can share the asset data from their locker and then any documents. So these are those documents I showed you in the users folder. Those would be selected here. They would click continue down on the right, or they could go and add additional documents. If there's other documents that they want to add at this time, they would just click and go into their desktop and grab any other documents that they wanted to. We're going to present back to the user the information that they're sharing. They're going to consent and acknowledge that they're sharing that with you. They're going to click continue. And now what FinLocker is doing is taking a copy of the PDF documents, and it's taking the data file from the consumer's locker, from the go bag, and the data is being compiled into a Fannie 3.2 file, and both the documents and the data are being posted to the admin portal of FinLocker. So let's go over there and I'll show you real quick what that looks like. I'm jumping into the admin portal. So when I come into the admin, so what would happen is you would get an email, and I'll show you what that looks like. You would get an email that looks like this from FinLocker saying that one of your borrowers has consented to share information with you. You'd click the link in the email that would take you into this admin portal. And then again, based on the credentials we're going to share with you after this call, you'd log into the admin portal. And then in the lower right, you would see any of your linked borrowers, in this case, any of your linked veterans from the go bag that have shared with you would show up down here. You click the borrower that you're looking to see the data from. And so in this case, I went into my demo account, so I've got a bunch of different shares in here. But here's an example of what's been shared from a user's locker to the loan officer. So the upper section, it represents those asset accounts. Then I've got my pay statements, tax returns, and any other documents. And then here you'll notice we're showing you the Fannie Mae 3.2 data set. And we also have the same data set in a MISMO format. So depending on how you need to ingest it into your system, most people are going to use the 3.2. But if you have the capabilities for MISMO, that is there as well. You would click accept. So you'll see this button down here that says accept. You'll click accept, and then this download will start to happen. What this download's doing right now is taking all the data from these 5 asset accounts and compiling those into one single asset report. And when I click this, because I should have done one, because if you have 5 accounts, it's going to take a while to pull that together. But I'm going to show you what the download looks like. So once I click download, I'm going to get a window that's going to open here on my desktop. And now this is where I'm going to see those PDFs of the pay statements, tax returns. There's the Fannie Mae 3.2 data set, and there's the MISMO data set. There's my letter of explanation. And as soon as that asset report completes the generation, it would show up in here as well. Inside the asset report will be the Fannie Mae digital asset key, which can be passed through to DU for day one certainty for digital asset verification. So from here, once you have these documents and these data sets and your desktop, you can drag and drop those into your point of sale, your LOS, CR, wherever you're going to begin your loan application workflow is where you would drag that information in. So let me take a pause here for a moment and see if there's any questions, thoughts, comments so far on that process.
Honestly, I think it's just to kind of chime in here. I think it's a great feature that you guys are putting together here with this, because half the battle usually is getting bank statements, to be honest with you, right?
Yeah.
I think for most of us, it's assets, making sure we get all pages, and that's like the biggest pain in our butt. And getting this facilitated this way actually really, I think, will help expedite things a little bit further for veterans, especially when they're trying to redact info like I had a request for today. I'm like, I'm sorry, you guys can't do that. So this will definitely help out.
Yeah, so just to kind of go a little deeper on that, we're defaulting today to 60 days of data, right? So 60 days of the transactional data back from today's date. So if I'm accepting this share, today, it's going to go back 60 days. We also provide you with 60 days forward access. So that's important.
For sure.
You'll have, so in the case of today's share, 60 days from now going forward, as a loan officer, I would have access to come back in and refresh that data set. And you would do that without having to bother your consumer at that point. So that's really cool when you get, later in your loan process and you need to refresh asset data. If the user has shared their accounts, which in this case, there's 5 accounts that have been shared, I can go in for up to 60 days and refresh that data set.
Yeah, honestly, I think even minimizing the amount of items we request on a conditional approval, I think that's key right there. I mean, the less amount of stuff you ask the client for, the better. It usually leads to also them being a little bit less stressed out over the amount of items they need to collect. So yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and the way we're thinking about the platform as we continue to enhance, and that's why I was trying to engage with as many of you guys on the weekend as possible. If early in their setup process with their go bag, we can kind of start to prompt them to add key information, whether it's data elements or documents. It removes friction when they're ready to start the mortgage application process, because that stuff will already be in the locker or the go bag. And then one of the feature enhancements that we're working on is more of a dynamic guided document checklist. So the locker would recognize when they've, uploaded documents against a certain checklist item. And then to the extent that they have outstanding items that they haven't yet uploaded in their go bag, from time to time, we would remind them that, to be best prepared for their mortgage, they should upload their updated pay stub, as an example.
I have a quick question.
Yes.
For those of us that are signed up for it, how do when we send our clients, hey, to go get signed up with that, do we have, and maybe I missed this, so I apologize,
Right.
but do we have is there when I send this link out, is it Nathan Einkorn's link, so anyone who signs up is automatically put into my queue, or do they have to, when they go in and sign up, do they have to select the loan officer that they're working with?
Yes. So today, the way it works in the under the Vetted VA setup, which is what you guys are all set up under today, the veteran would start in the kind of, well, I'll say the generic go bag, so the unassigned go bag. And what we're doing with Chris and Nathan behind the scenes until the map is actually exposed inside the go bag is when a veteran uses the map to select a vetted professional to work with, we will come into, we'll come into this, the admin portal, either Nathan, Chris, or somebody from the FinLocker team will then assign that specific consumer underneath your link inside the go bag. And so when that happens, what the user will see, let me go into our demo here. Once we've set each of you guys up inside the vetted VA instance of FinLocker, when the veteran clicks this Your Contact button in the upper right, they're going to see you inside their go bag. So this is my demo environment. So I'm listed in here as the originator. But once we've assigned a veteran that's been asked, that went to the map and selected you, you're going to be linked to that veteran and you'll show up in their go bag. So you'll be the contact point for that sharing event. When they do share from the go bag, you'll be the one that gets the alert. And then any of the links in here from a contact perspective will be to you. I think, does that help answer the question? Cool.
Yes.
What else? Anything else? I mean, this was from a vetted perspective, it's a pretty simple onboard process for you guys. You'll be basically on the receiving end when the veteran is going to share from their locker. And it's, like I said, we're going to follow up today's call with the user guide, and I'll also send this recording back around, but I think it's pretty straightforward. And I don't see if Chris or Nathan joined us. Let's see.
No, I didn't see them on the participant list.
Well, we should count that against them, by the way. All right. I promised it was going to be quick. So for the folks that haven't yet signed on with FinLocker, I know a few of you just had additional questions. If you want to stay on and ask those questions, happy to do it here. Otherwise, we can set up a separate call for that as well. Got a shy group. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining today. Thank you so much for partnering with FinLocker to help serve the veterans through Vetted VA. And I love the energy you guys bring. I love the content you guys share, and I'm looking forward to partnering with you on this initiative.
Looking forward to it, brother. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Thank
Brian.
you, guys.